Ready to launch your first WordPress blog today? In this beginner friendly guide, I'll show you exactly how to set up your WordPress blog and go live in less than 20 minutes. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Throughout this video, I'll show you how to set up a blog similar to this one, and I'll show you how you can quickly tweak the design. So if you wanted more of a newspaper feel or more of a magazine feel, I'll show you exactly how you can do that in just a few clicks. And again, this could be anything. This could be fashion, business, crypto. You name it, we'll achieve it. All right, so this is just a quick overview of what we'll be creating. And if we click on the author page, so we'll be customizing the author page, the header section, the footer section, our home page as well. So I'll show you how to tweak this design and have it something unique to your brand. So the first thing you need when you're creating your blog is to get your domain and hosting. Don't worry, if you've already got that, you can skip this section. If not, then I'll recommend heading over to aitthemes.com/YouTube. Here's the deal. If you buy your hosting through our link at no extra cost to you, we'll build your WordPress blog for free. Yes, for free. So you'll get a professional setup with powerful tools, zero stress, and it'll be done in 48 hours, usually 24 hours, but it depends on the workload. Once you're on this page, you can go ahead and hit get started. Go ahead and go through the steps. We've got two other amazing offers here as well. So you can go ahead and download the Citadel WP theme for free, which is what we'll be using throughout this video. And if you wanted to take us up on any other pro features, you can go ahead and use this exclusive discount here to get an additional 35% off your purchase. But again, this is optional. It's totally up to you. So I'm assuming you've already got your hosted sorting. You've already downloaded the Citadel WP themes. If not, once you've downloaded that particular theme, we just head over to Appearance and then Themes, and then we just click Add Theme, and then we can upload the Citadel WP theme, which you can get from this link here. So with that out of the way, I'm also going to go ahead and download and install the AIT Blocks plugin. This is our no-code page builder plugin, which will allow you to create a mailing. We'll navigate over to plugins, add plugin, and then in your case, you'll go ahead and install and upload the AIT Blocks plugin. I've got the free version installed, and I've also got the pro version installed. Throughout this video, we'll be utilizing a lot of the pro features. So some of the stuff, if you're only using a free version, you won't be able to follow along with, but you can utilize that discount on that special link that I showed in the intro and go ahead and get the pro version. So let's head over to AIT Blocks. And then from here, we want to go ahead and enable where it says Site Builder. Then we're going to navigate over to Starter Sites. From here, we can import any of these designs, assuming you've got the pro version. So currently we've got this design on our website. If you wanted a more magazine style, more news style, fashion, you can go ahead and choose any of these templates. The process is exactly the same. I'm going to stick with this 3D example. We'll click on it. And then from here, we get to tweak our color palette. So for example, if we wanted it to be more green, maybe more pink, we can go ahead and choose whatever we want here. Later on as well, we can further customize these colors. So you don't have to feel stuck with any of these particular color palettes. We can further customize it later on. Then we get to choose typography. Again, there'll be loads more options for you to choose various different typographies, but these are a few common typographies that you may want to consider. I'm happy with this one. So once you're happy with everything, just go ahead and hit import site. We need to acknowledge that we'll delete all our previous pages, posts, and so on. So if you don't want that to happen, then go ahead and untick this option. We need to have this option enabled to install any required plugins that it might need to form a particular layout. And we can just hit start importing. Okay, perfect. So it's installed successfully. So let's go ahead and view our homepage. Nice. So first, we'll go ahead and head back over to our dashboard and we'll customize the header section of our website. We'll navigate over to AIT Blocks, and this time we'll click on Site Build, and we'll go ahead and click on Header. And here we've got this custom header template, which is pre-installed since we imported that foodie template. So let's just click Edit. This is our current header design. So I'm just going to tweak it slightly. So first, I'm going to click on our document overview. All right, so we've got 3 rows. And my main focus is on this row. So eventually I'm going to end up with just 1 row. So I'm clicking on the first row. Let's click this settings icon here. And I want to make this row into 3 columns. Currently it's set to 2. So I want to set it to 3. And where should we put our logo? So this layout's fine. Let's remove these. I'm going to move our logo here. Right, let's make it a little bit smaller. And this is our menu. And I'm going to move it in. So I accidentally moved it into the third column. I want to move it into the second column, which is this one here. And I can see we've already got some content in that second column. So I'm going to move our social icons. So that's not actually in the column. And our button in that third column here. All right, perfect. So now these two rows are redundant. So we can actually delete this. So we just right click and then just hit delete. Again, we'll right click and hit delete. And this paragraph, we'll go ahead and delete it as well. So first, let's hit save changes. Let's have a look at our website, see how it looks, and then we'll make any necessary adjustments. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's quite messy. So let's go ahead and continue to tweak it. All right, so the beauty of using the AIT themes menu widget is that we can create mega menus. I'm going to click a plus icon here. I'm going to click add item and I'm just going to put hash. So it basically goes nowhere. And then I'll type in categories. Let's hit save and let's click on categories. Let's move this up. Let's keep moving it. All right. So categories, let's hit submenu. And then here we can create a mega menu or a list menu. So just to show you how to create a mega menu, I'm going to create one. All right. Let's add a row and we're just going to create a simple mega menu. All right. So here we can go ahead. All right. So let's click on this again. We can type in AIT menu again, menu block. All right. So currently our menu set to inline. So let's deselect that because we want our menu to display vertically. Menu item, we can actually delete these. Delete that. Let's click add item. Let's see if we've got our dessert menu. We've got a desserts category here. Let's hit save. Let's add a few. We've got healthy recipes. Let's save that. Let's see if we can add another. So this is our contact us page, but let's assume this was 30-minute meals, for example, right? Let's click back on this. Let's delete this one. All right, this looks good. Let's add an image here. And now we can get rid of some of these, right, to reduce the menu width. So we don't need dessert because we've got it under categories. We don't need healthy recipes. We can leave the about and contact us. All right, so now we need to sort these out. So we can remove the social icons. Sign in and subscribe. We can leave it as it is. Let's hit save. Let's refresh our page. And that's loads better, right? So one thing I've noticed is the color on our menu. This is our mega menu. So we've got categories, we've got this nice drop down here. We've got our categories, and then we've got this image here. In our mega menu, we can add any sort of information that we want. So we can add latest posts. It's totally up to you. You can be as creative as you want. One last thing we'll change is we'll change the text color. So let's click back on our header. Let's select our menu items. Let's click menu blocks, menu item color, and here we can change it to black. That's fine. Let's hit save. And now let's refresh this page. And that looks fine. I'm happy with that. Oh, before we go, let's add a search icon, right? So what's a blog without the ability to actually search? Let's click on this plus icon over here. And then we've got this search, AIT blocks. And then we can just add it. We'll add it here. So again, we click on document overview. We could create a 4 column, but let's see if we can add it here. Let's see how it will look. So let's click on the search, Ajax search, that's fine. Search style, let's select this. We'll enable search pop-up. So it's just the icon displaying. This should help reduce the spacing. And let's move it to the right. The icon color, let's change this to black. All right, that's fine. We need to do one additional thing, but let's see how it looks for now. So it did sort of work. So let's click on this column and let's make everything vertically aligned. Let's hit save. Let's refresh this page. All right, so let's try flex direction on this third column and let's set it to align like this. So they're separate from each other and see if that changes anything. And that did the trick. So here we've got our search box. Perfect. Let's head back over to our header builder. If we wanted to update our site logo, we can click on our logo here. And as we can see, it says site logo. So wherever we add this site logo block, it will reflect our current logo. All we have to do is click on media over here, and then we can choose open media, select our new logo, hit select, and then it will reflect. Since we're using the AIT blocks plugin, if we enable dark mode, then we've got the option to add an alternative logo, so a lighter version. that will work on a darker background. If we had the toggle switch where we can switch from light to dark mode, then we'll be able to see the dark version of our logo. Okay, so now let's navigate over back to our home page. We'll edit this home page now, and we'll click edit page. And before we actually go ahead and change any of the styling on this page, there's a few things we want to go ahead and customize. Globally, we want to go ahead and customize our fonts and our typography just to make sure it suits your branding, right? And to do so, we'll click on this icon here, right, where it says AIT blocks settings. And then from here, we can choose to override our theme styling. That's already enabled. And here, when we select choose style, we can change the styling, just like how we did when we first imported a template. But now, as I mentioned before, we've got the option to further customize the color palette. So if we didn't want this blue, we can go ahead and change it to red, for example. And wherever this base color is shown, then it will reflect red. Let's change a few more. We can see these are these light blue here, and the red's the hover state. Let's change this to red. Well, this is a pink, but you get the idea. We can further customize the color palette here. We can change the background if we like, or we can even enable dark mode. So this is what I mean when I said with the AIT blocks plugin, you got the option to enable light and dark mode, which is super powerful. So on the front end, we can show them a widget where they can toggle between state. I'm just going to deactivate dark mode. We can override our themes typography. We can customize it for the body and others and the header as well. So for example, currently we're using Robo, but if we wanted, we can change this to whatever we want. We can change it to Roman times. It means any title on our website, the branding will automatically update to this new style. And it gives you a more granular control over the look and feel of your website. Before we go, actually, we can customize the editor width. Currently it's set to the theme default. We can set it to full screen if we want. Some other custom size, it's totally up to you. Breakpoint, this is more for advanced users. The standard breakpoints are fine, but if you wanted granular control over the breakpoints, then you can go ahead and customize it. Let's X off this. If we press save, then all that changes will be reflected across our entire. So now we'll move on to customizing our homepage of our website. I like to always start with document overview, assuming we've already got some existing content on our page. All right, so here we've got a spacer to give us some padding between header section and our content. We've got this post slider here, and we can remove this or we can customize it further. I'm going to delete it, and we can remove this spacing. And we've got this row here where we've got some information about the author and our Instagram and so on. So I'm just going to remove this for now, and we'll create something completely different. Let's remove this spacing. This section, I'll leave it as it is for now. Maybe we might remove it later on. So let's click this plus icon and let's start being creative with our blog design. All right, so we'll scroll down past all of these and we'll go ahead and let's have a look at a few of these post templates. So we've got a different style slider here. We'll add back the slider, but this time it's a different style. I like this, so I'm going to leave this as it is. This is a good start. We can further customize the number of posts to show within the slider, the height, and we've got all these extra granular control as well. We can specify if we want to show it, if we want to show posts from a particular category. Let's see what else we want to add to our website. I'm going to add this post module here. The alignment's completely off. So before we add this post module, let's delete it. First, let's add a row. A row makes sense. It's better in this case because it will help us contain whatever we're going to put in that row. Select 100% here. And let's go ahead and let's add back this post module here. All right, so that's loads better, right? Let's hit save. Let's view our homepage and then we'll make any adjustments if needed. I'm not happy with this. This doesn't make sense here. If we're going to add this here, it makes sense to have maybe 2 columns and then add something else here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Let's just click delete. And we'll add something else. Let's try. We can add some heading as well. So if we scroll back up, select heading, we can tweak the styling here. We can change the H, and of course we can customize the size and typography and so on. I'm going to change that to EM. And I'll set that to 3 EM. Let's hit save. Let's refresh our page. I like all this. I don't like this section here. So again, we're going to remove the slider. Let's click on this. And let's just hit delete. Let's hit save. And now let's refresh this page. Perfect. So this looks good. You can go ahead and be as creative as you want. You've got all the tools to create a unique blog. If you get stuck, you can always import a different template to give you a different idea and inspiration. Let's go ahead and customize the footer section of our blog page. All right, so let's navigate back over to our dashboard. Usually there'll be a option here which will allow you to quickly edit the footer section on your website, but I think I'm using an outdated plugin. That's why we can't see it. Nevertheless, we'll head over to AIT blocks and site builder. We'll go ahead and click on footer, and we've got an active footer here. So we'll just click edit. Again, we'll click on document overview. We've got a row, we've got 2 rows. This row, it seems, is for this section here. And in this main row, if we expand it, we've got 3 columns, and we can see our columns. We've got our site logo. We've got some text, so this could be a bit about your blog. And we've got a social icon here, so there's no need to have it in the header section unless you specifically wanted it there. In this case, for our newsletter, we can link out to our subscription page, depending on which mailing provider you're using, or we can embed our subscription form onto our page here. Usually most modern mailing providers will give you the option to embed your subscription form on your website. So we can go ahead and do that here on this particular row. We've got this post list here. And if we go over here, we can change the styling. We can add advanced filters, but it doesn't make sense in this case. We can increase the number of posts that we're showing here. We can order it by a published date, random post, comment count, and so on. Again, we can filter it by a particular category or by a particular author. Then we can exclude various different posts. Let's click on this one here. We've got our taxonomy. So this is listing all our post categories on our website, and it's showing the post count as well. We can customize the layout, or we go to heading. We can tweak the design. So there's loads of stuff we can do. And as usual, if we want to add any extra content to our footer section, for example, we wanted to add a contact form, we can just go ahead and drag and drop it there. We can change the field type, validation message. We can add new fields. All right, let's delete this field. Yeah, you get the idea. If we didn't want to show our form on every page on our website, which I wouldn't recommend, personally, I'll just link them over to the contact page. Let's go ahead and delete contact form. We can customize the background of this row. I've just clicked on the main row here, and if we go down to background and wrapper, let's select solid color. We can go ahead and change this up, and obviously you'd want to create a more user-friendly color, but just to illustrate the footer customization, let's go ahead and refresh this page. Right there, we've got our background design. So finally, let's move on to actually creating our first blog post. So all you need to do is navigate. All you need to do is where it says new here, we can click post, or if you're in the back end of your website, you can navigate over to posts and then just click add post. All right. And then here you'd add your content. What I'm going to do for the content, just to speed things up, I'm going to select AIT blocks template. Let's go to pre-made pattern, and I'm just going to import one of these patterns here. So you get the idea. And obviously you can go ahead and add new blocks. I like to click on this plus icon and get to where I'm trying to get to a lot quicker. All right. If we wanted to add a pricing table in our posts for whatever reason, we can go ahead and do that. And once you're happy with everything, if we click on post here, we can choose our category. If you don't have any categories, you can go ahead and add a category. Let's enter it, name it, let's say breakfast, and then we can click add category. We can add tags as well if you want. We can set a featured image, and then we can just hit publish, and let's view our post. All right, we've got a featured image, and we've got our post here. And this brings us to the end of this video. Like and subscribe for more videos like this, and if you've got any questions, leave it in the comment box.